The number one reason why you keep attracting toxic people is because of your attachment style. In order to stop this pattern, we need to thoroughly understand what your attachment style is and how to fix it. In this video, I'll show you exactly how your attachment style is the cause of all of your toxic relationships and even failure in life, success, failure. Watch till the end and everything will be clear to you. Your whole life story will finally make sense. The reason why this attachment style stuff is a big deal is because it lays the foundation for how you will grow up to perceive and relate with yourself, self-talk, others, and the world. It's not only the cause behind the quality of your relationships, the relationships you attract. Your attachment style can affect your level of success, happiness, feeling of how much you deserve out of life. Also, it influences your susceptibility to illness, anxiety, depression, mood swings, major mood disorders, and psychological disorders like bipolar, BPD. It causes all that. So, let's dive deep into it. What is an attachment style and how is it developed? First, we have to define attachment, and then we'll talk about the styles of attachment. The concept of attachment is derived from developmental psychology. Attachment refers to the emotional bond or connection that forms between often an infant and their primary caregiver, typically the mother. Based on this quality, on the quality of this bond, you develop a style, as in an attachment style. This is an internal, unconscious working model for all of your future relationships with self, other, and the world. Meaning, based on how your mom treated you as an infant, you will basically learn to treat yourself and others the same way in all social contexts. Not only this, but you learn whether to fear others and to which degree others are safe to bond with in the future as an adult. Your style of attachment is what unconsciously makes you irresistibly attracted to stable or unstable and toxic partners. Understanding your style and learning how to deal with it is the key to gaining a level of control over your unconscious romantic attractions. And you will also be able to spot and weed out narcissists, psychopaths, as well as consciously learn to stop yourself from attracting those people into your life. This also goes for friendships and business relationships. Now, the style of attachment develops based on the level and quality of your mother's responsiveness when it comes to attending to your needs as an infant. So, some mothers were, for example, present in the same room, even holding the baby, but they were mostly distracted by other things, matters, tasks at the same time. Other caregivers were always mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically present with the infant at all times, mirroring their every move and expression. And this is what develops secure attachment. This is the healthiest attachment that can be. Something else that affects the development of a healthy attachment bond is the degree of absence and abandonment. If you were raised, for example, by different caregivers, your grandmother, grandfather, then uncle and all that, in the first year of your life, this can negatively affect the development of a secure attachment style. Two attachment styles emerge based on the quality of caretaking you have received as an infant. As I said, drawing on the extensive research in the attachment field and developmental psychology, 4 attachment styles have been recognized. But there's 2 major categories. There's insecure attachment and there's secure attachment styles, okay? Secure attachment style is just one, that's secure, obviously. Insecure attachment styles, there's 3 types. There's insecure preoccupied attachment or insecure anxious preoccupied attachment. That's the same name, it's interchangeable. Insecure dismissive avoidant attachment style and insecure disorganized attachment style. Only the secure attachment style, obviously from its name, is the category implying that the individual has had close to perfect caregivers as an infant. The other 3 styles, the other insecure 3 styles, had experienced some kind of unmet needs in one way or another. It doesn't always mean that you had bad parents, no. You can develop insecure attachment even by the mere fact of your parents leaving you at your grandma's house or daycare, just because they had to go to work for a few hours, but even that, those few hours of absence can be experienced for the baby as abandonment, imprint a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear of abandonment. That can cause, of course, preoccupied attachment or some form of disorganized attachment in later stages of life. Of course, some were straight out abusive, psychopathic parents or narcissistic, but then again, these people are not to be fully blamed either, because they themselves are acting unconsciously out of trauma. So, to note, you cannot blame your parents for this, because first they most likely didn't have access to this knowledge, internet, therapy, older generations I'm talking, right? And second of all, they had to go to work more than now. Okay, there wasn't home office, internet, all that, all these internet jobs. Heal? Yes, you can heal, but blame your parents? No. Blame anybody? No. Many of these emotionally unavailable parents had their own childhood traumas to deal with themselves, especially old generations, as I said. They had no access to internet, no access to self-development content. In general, as I said, you develop insecure attachment style due to narcissistic, psychopathic, abusive, or simply normal but unresponsive or consistently unresponsive, unreliable, emotionally unavailable parents. Kind of available sometimes, but not always attending to your needs, or attending to your needs but distracted mentally or emotionally. And the infant can feel when they are being held, but the other person is still distracted thinking about something else, and that also affects the way they are experienced. They experience themselves as not wanted, not needed, or not consistently worthy of attention. Attachment prototypes and styles. So, when we speak of you attracting narcissistic partners, we speak of two main attachment styles: the avoidant attachment style and the preoccupied attachment style. Avoidant people are the ones susceptible to developing narcissistic tendencies. By susceptible, I don't mean that every person with avoidant attachment style, dismissive avoidant attachment style, is a narcissist, but in general, they tend to exhibit narcissistic behavior, okay? Preoccupied attachment style, or anxious preoccupied attachment, is the same name. So preoccupied attachment is the so-called empathic person. These are the people who identify as empaths. They feel more. And the avoidant, they feel much less. They suppress a lot in general. The preoccupied attachment, they feel way more. Okay, they have exaggerated attachment, fear of abandonment, all that. Most likely, the people who search for the specific video that you're watching right now may have preoccupied attachment style, because avoidants, they usually don't look up like self-development, how to fix themselves, because they generally don't see anything wrong with themselves. Generally, preoccupied people are looking up these videos. So let's understand a little bit how avoidance can develop narcissism, right? So, and then I'll tell you how preoccupied empaths are like a magnet for avoidant narcissists. An attachment style has two unconscious systems as its basis. First, the exploratory system, and second, the attachment system. Deactivation of the exploratory system over activation of the attachment system. This is what's going on in the unconscious mind of anxious attachment. And for avoidant, there's an exaggeration of exploratory system. That's why they always leave relationships very quickly, and they're always like overworking and all that. And there's a deactivation of an attachment system. They don't attach as easily. Let's talk about avoidance. So stuff like overworking, obsessive behavior, compulsive or reckless sexual behavior, drinking problems, not being able to stop cheating in relationships. An overactive, as I said, an overactive exploratory system in this case means they try to engage more with the physical world, immerse themselves in action, doing things with their bare hands, with their bodies, oftentimes in a compulsive way. And it could even be positive things like working out, yoga. All of this is an attempt to lose oneself in the environment and disconnect from their inner world so that they don't feel emotions, and especially attachment-related emotions, so they don't feel like they're missing out on getting close to people. So they replace getting close to people, love relationships with one-night stands, or just doing things like getting lost in the physical world, okay? But the biggest and most visible trait in avoidant people is that they have a hard time entering and maintaining being in long-term relationships, let's add also without leaving quickly, okay? in order of preference, they would first go for one-night stands, one-night flings, friends with benefits, open relationships, all that. They value independence and detachment rather than closeness and attachment. They want to have a relationship on their own terms, meet you when they feel like it. They have a hard time attending to your emotional needs or concerns. If you have a problem, something to talk about in the relationship, a concern, they'll usually seem confused or simply unable to understand your emotions or unable to soothe you. It's almost as if they can't feel what you feel. This is because they can't feel anything most of the time themselves. It's because of their traumas, okay? You cannot really blame them, but yeah, they can be very hurtful. They come across as quite narcissistic at times. They don't feel much what you are feeling. Depends on the degree of avoidance, of course. Some people are more secure, but still avoidant a little bit. Others are like super avoidant, kind of like 10% secure, okay? So just remember, there's degrees to this, okay? All these attachment styles, there's varying degrees. But yeah, so one other big trait for avoidance is they usually run away, break up first, withdraw completely at any sign of conflict. If they're like very high on avoidance, it's hard for them to express love, like verbally, physically at times. We're talking extreme avoidance here, right? And sexual arousal and positive emotions are quite okay, yeah, for avoidance. They're okay with positive emotions, they're not very good with negatives. They usually leave relationships out of anger, arguments, heated debate and all that. If there's like a rough patch, there's a lot of arguments, they don't stick around much, okay? So anything negative, romantic or dramatic will trigger their attachment system and they will simply run away. And after a breakup, when you look back, you almost feel like you never really knew the person. They generally talk like one or two words, they're very silent, they don't reveal that much information, the information is kind of logical, not that emotional. This is because the lack of emotional expression from the person basically makes them come across as an empty shell of a human being. To answer the title of this video now, why do you keep attracting toxic people? The reason is because in general, you may have preoccupied attachment style, because preoccupied people are quite empathetic and extremely sensitive. They feel way more, just think of the avoidant, but it's the complete opposite. They feel much more intensely, especially when they are attached to somebody, when they're in a relationship. And they're very sensitive to criticism and all that. So those are the quote-unquote empaths and sensitive people of the world. Avoidant people rarely worry about their relationships. High avoidance we're talking, right? They don't worry about the people they attract, their next date. They don't worry much, okay? Or look up solutions when they're in a relationship. Look up solutions to understand themselves. Look up solutions for the relationship patterns on the internet. They often think there's nothing wrong with them. They're usually the ones to end relationships, so they don't worry much. Even after ending, they don't really reflect that much. They just move on. After the breakup, they start enjoying their freedom. They feel really good because they feel free, independent. There's not that much of like that drama, somebody asking them to talk about things and make them talk because they just don't want to, right? They don't reflect much after a relationship ends. They don't reflect about why things ended and what could have been done better from their part. They don't look up solutions. They don't improve themselves as much. That's like 90% of the time for avoidance. You're most likely watching this video, have found this video because you have preoccupied attachment style, okay? Preoccupied. Please note, I am not demonizing anyone in this video with avoidant or any other attachment style. I'm not here to say that avoidants are bad, preoccupied, empaths are good. This is not what this video is about. This video is purely educational, but again, we have to state the truth, right? We have to state the psychological truth. It does seem to be the case, yes, that avoidants exhibit narcissistic tendencies, but they're still human beings nevertheless. And some avoidants I met, they're actually trying to work on these things. They're becoming aware, they're trying to work on themselves. So before I fix my patterns, yeah, I had preoccupied attachment style myself and I could understand. I could totally understand. I had relationships with avoidance. I could fully understand you. If you think they are shitty people, if you think that your ex, your avoidant ex is just trash. But again, at the end of the day, yeah, there's no evil intention at the end of the day. It's just the person is acting out unconsciously, okay? And once you realize that, you can forgive, yeah. So as a preoccupied, if you want a healthy relationship, there's only two options for you. Find a secure partner. Learn how a secure person looks like, how they behave on a date, by text, in terms of how they behave and how they behave in the courting period, right? That's one solution. Secure people can help preoccupied empaths become more secure. You will still need therapy. You'll still need maybe some therapy, maybe some self-healing, some shadow work by yourself. Therapists could help out a lot. Somebody who's specialized in attachment style, of course. Somebody who's specialized in fixing attachment styles. Unlike the avoidant person who will freak the hell out when preoccupied people start to exhibit clingy behavior in the relationship, the secure will provide you with that extra love and reassurance, okay? They will be there for you, even if you're experiencing fear of abandonment, being clingy and needy. The avoidant, they will make you feel like you are needy. The secure, they won't. They will just be there for you. For the avoidant, you gotta work on expressing emotions, right? You gotta work on your fear of getting close, fear of entering relationships, fear of intimacy, fear of rejection, they also have fear of abandonment, yeah, avoidant people. So therapy is most likely the way to go for avoidance, okay? For avoidance, you gotta work on jumping from one relationship to another, ending things quickly with good people, wondering why you're always alone and all that. Yeah, this is because you end relationships and you don't even know why you're ending them. For the preoccupied, on the other hand, you gotta work on being alone, develop self-confidence, self-soothing, push through your comfort zone in all areas, challenge your fears, seek out promotions, just really focusing on doing things on your own. Even when you're in a relationship, as soon as you get that overthinking, you start overthinking about the relationship, you gotta put your mind into doing something else, okay? Really keep your connections and friendships. Usually you just let go of them, you just cut out friendships, even family members, just focus on the relationship. That's how your mind is gonna work in a relationship. That's how your attachment style, it triggers you, it forces you to focus just on the relationship. You gotta really disperse and scatter that focus through conscious will so that you can maintain that independence yourself. Once you start focusing on other things, everything is gonna be much, much better. That's one technique that can help preoccupied people, okay? I wanted to share that. But of course, deep healing, therapy, self-healing, shadow work, that's the thing that is most needed if you are extremely preoccupied, like I was myself. Yeah, all of this will help you develop more security, strength of character. This is just one way again, but as I said, you need the healing, okay? All of this is necessary because getting a secure partner is not always easy, and if you do get one, they're not always the solution. What I mean by this is that a secure person can also begin to experience discomfort at some point, even with a preoccupied, if they're extremely clingy, if you are extremely clingy, and often preoccupied people, you are not very aware of when you're clingy, when you're exhibiting jealousy. It's all unconscious. It's automatic, okay? And it takes a long time and a lot of healing, at least for a whole year, to actually start to notice what you're doing. And even secure people will eventually leave you as well. So healing first and relationship second, that's what I recommend. Going back to avoidance, their relationships generally don't last long. They'll run away at some point and they will destroy the relationship in different ways. Cheating, being emotionally unavailable, dismissing concerns, telling you that they don't have time to talk about the serious stuff, meeting you when they want to meet you, but not when you want to meet them, until you have enough of it and leave, right? But most preoccupied people don't leave when they're attached to an avoidant. It just goes on almost forever. Preoccupied and avoidant people can have a long-term relationship if both of them are at a mild level of attachment disturbance. They also have, so yeah, what I mean is they need to have some level of security. They have to have, both of them, they have to be very inclined to do some kind of self-work, as I told you, like inner work, healing work, therapy on the attachment style. Secure people leave relationships if you are too avoidant. They generally don't leave as quickly if you are preoccupied, because preoccupied people, they can really exhibit love, they are caring in general. They are extra caring, okay? They're extra caring in a self-sacrificing way. If you are an avoidant person, that means it's very difficult for you to keep a secure partner and that means to keep a stable, secure relationship. They freak you out at some point, okay? A secure person is used to being treated very well by their parents, okay? And so their unconscious mind will only allow secure or close to secure people into their life. So if you are avoidant, you're gonna have a very hard time finding stability in your life. You look back at your life, you either had no relationships at all and you see it as normal, still craving that intimacy but scared of getting close to anybody, or you look back at your life, you're very old and you're always single and jumping from one person to another. If you are in a relationship with an avoidant yourself at the moment, you are the partner of an avoidant person, the only way to make it work long term is for the avoidant person to agree to educate themselves on their attachment style and to agree to do therapy and or some kind of self-healing, consistent journaling and self-healing and shadow work for months, maybe years. If they are too avoidant, as in narcissistic personality type of avoidant, then you gotta leave, okay? You have to leave. Avoidants are highly susceptible, as I mentioned, to developing narcissistic personality disorders in their early years, in their teenage years, due to the nature of their attachment style. And avoidant attachment style is almost like a basic foundation upon which narcissistic personality can easily form and flourish. The attachment style is developed in the first 2 years of life, and then personality disorders develop on top of that, based on recent research in the attachment field. Preoccupied people are the least susceptible to this, okay? They are the least susceptible to developing narcissistic personality disorder because, yeah, I mean, they can, however, be narcissistic in their own way. They can have high levels of preoccupation to the point of controlling their partner's every move, being jealous, looking for their partners if they're cheating, even if they're secure. They always have these worries about cheating, leaving them, the partner leaving them. In general, preoccupied empaths rarely enter relationships with those who have the same exact attachment style. So preoccupied, they usually don't attract the other preoccupied. Because usually we attract what is opposite to us. We attract the people who are they kind of remind us of how our parents treated us, okay? Because avoidant for the preoccupied is like the preoccupied's parents, because the parent of the preoccupied were kind of inconsistent. The avoidant is gonna be inconsistent as well, okay? And that's their definition of love. In general, when preoccupied or avoidant people meet a secure person, they go out on a date with a secure person, they kind of feel kind of bored. There's not much spark, let's just say. They don't feel that spark. And the secure person on the other side, they don't feel the spark either. Because it shows in your body language, in the way their parents treated you for years, especially as a baby. It shows on the date. The way you move your eyes, the way you talk, the way you use your voice. It tells the secure person to run away from you because it tells them you are unsafe. Generally, insecure people, preoccupied and avoidant, they kind of on a date, they play games, and even if they don't, they are very, they behave in very insecure ways. They're kind of like shy or too reserved. They don't talk as much. Secure people, they're not attracted to that, okay? They don't feel safe in that. We're gonna talk about this in some future videos. Again, most toxic relationships are basically made up of two people who don't understand their attachment styles and they're not working on it, and they don't understand how it contributes to the dysfunction of the relationship. People, yeah, I'm gonna add this, it's not in the script, but I have to add these few sentences. People believe that it's all about zodiac signs and all this bullshit. To be honest with you, it doesn't make any sense to me. Read about attachment styles, research it, don't take my word for it. This is only one video, right? But your attachment style will make or break your relationships. Your attachment style makes up 98%, let's just say, of your success in a relationship. Don't tell me about personality types, don't tell me Myers-Briggs, don't tell me Jungian, I don't know, don't tell me Enneagram, don't tell me astrology, none of that, okay? To be honest with you, it doesn't matter. Only your attachment style matters, if you want to attract long-term healthy relationships or healthy short-term relationships. Preoccupied attachment. For the preoccupied attachment style, they have the opposite. The attachment system is not only active, but overactive. The exploratory system is disabled. This is your typical quote-unquote empath, very shy and anxious person, socially awkward person. They could also be very charismatic, right? They could be very charismatic as well, but yeah, you have two types of preoccupied. You have the passive preoccupied, who's going to be very shy, anxious, reserved, doesn't talk as much. And you have the angry preoccupied attachment style, which is this person has more passion, fire in them, and they get angry. They express their jealousy through anger, their fear of the partner cheating on them through anger. Everything is expressed through anger. Clinginess, love addiction, chasing after people who left you, fear of being alone, and yeah, fear of abandonment. That's the big one for preoccupied. This is what to remember. Yeah, whenever we speak of preoccupied attachment on this channel, this is what to remember. This is your typical codependent person. This is the codependent person. Codependency equals preoccupied attachment, and preoccupied attachment equals codependency. The complete and total opposite of the avoidant person. It's fascinating, right? How life works in this way. How parenting works to make people develop these opposing forces, okay, in life. Okay, it's super interesting how this psychology works. You're probably listening to this video right now and you're like, yeah, this is me. It's me. This is the sensitive, emotional, socially anxious individual. This is the guy or the girl who can't stop texting. The hopeless romantic. Usually, they have a hard time in breakups because during the relationship they attach like crazy. They merge with the person completely, with the other person. You'll see them slowly stop calling family, stop going out with friends, and all they do all day long is think and obsess about their romantic partner and the relationship, and if there's any problem with the relationship. It all stems from fear of abandonment, by the way. They can be very demanding, ask for reassurance, if you like them, you still love them, pressure their partner to meet them more often, or to change plans to meet them, get angry if rejected for a meetup. Depending on the degree of dysfunction of their preoccupied attachment style, the fear of abandonment will slowly start to creep in, right? During the more you get to know them. They could be very confident from the start, as I told you. If they're angry preoccupied, they could be very charismatic. They look like secure people. But slowly, the fear of abandonment starts to creep in and they start to get more jealous and all that. I was like this. I was like this, by the way. I had preoccupied attachment style. And yeah, still do to some extent, but I'm on the journey, I'm on the recovery journey myself, and I'm much more secure than before. I fixed up to like 80% of these behaviors. So what I'm saying is that healing is possible, guys. Even though attachment styles are the most difficult psychological dysfunctions to heal. It's possible, okay? Remember that. Preoccupied attachment style people tend to want to move into relationships extremely fast and skip all the red flags. They just want to feel loved and fall in love as soon as possible. Once they meet somebody new, they have extreme sexual attraction. They start to obsess over somebody's body. They overlook the fact that there's other people that look like this person. They could get other people as well who look like this person because they have low self-esteem. They believe, I will never get somebody like that ever, or I will never get somebody as attractive as them ever. They forget that they did meet this person. That means they can meet others, but they don't have access to this information, okay, because they have low self-esteem. This is what makes them very clingy. They just want to feel loved, right? This is why they end up with dysfunctional, toxic, and narcissistic partners more often than not. They just want to move in very quickly with somebody new. Okay, they move very fast in the relationship, and they're love addicts. A narcissistic person enjoys this kind of clinginess. They enjoy having someone who has no self-worth, consistently needy for their presence. They could play with them, they could manipulate them. The narcissistic person is kind of avoidant, and they've always been neglected as children. Preoccupied, they got inconsistent care. Avoidance got no care at all. And so they love when somebody is meeting their needs all the time, self-sacrificing. They perceive and treat them as gods and that they can easily manipulate them. They gladly accept that excess of attention, love bombing from the preoccupied person. Preoccupied people are conditioned from childhood to chase love, but not really get enough of it, ever. They feel the safest and most secure with a partner who pulls away, creates distance, gives a little bit of love, but not all the love they need. This is the same feeling of the preoccupied's parents leaving for work as an infant. That inconsistency, right? The love was not consistent in the first year of life. The parents of a preoccupied person were either physically present but emotionally and mentally distracted, preoccupied themselves with other things, and the baby could feel that, okay? Or they'd leave the infant in daycare, babysitter, as we have mentioned in the introduction. So this is the definition of love for the empath, anxious, preoccupied person. It's all about chasing but never getting enough, getting a little bit, never getting enough, and that's why they stick with the avoidant. Their narrative of relationships is, I get love, but never enough. This is their deep unconscious belief, right? I get love, I can get love, but it's never gonna be enough, and I know it, and this is what feels like mom and dad. If I get all the love in the world, i.e. a secure person, that doesn't really feel safe. It feels foreign, it feels new, it doesn't feel like mom and dad, it doesn't feel like family. I'm used to getting a little bit of love, but not all the love in the world. It doesn't feel like home. Therefore, any partner who tries to give me everything they got, I will not be attracted to them. I will need to feel safe, to feel loved, and to feel safe. I need that cat and mouse game with the avoidant I'm used to playing with my parents as an infant in my first year of life. This is the story of the preoccupied. Avoidants give just enough, but make a lot of space with you. They create lots of space, oftentimes in subtle ways, okay, dismissing, oh, we don't talk about this today, we'll talk tomorrow and all that. Oh, we don't have any problems, you have all the problems, you always got problems, concerns. So yeah, they dismiss you in that way. And the preoccupied goes nuts, starts chasing at the hopes of getting the full cake someday. One other thing to note, not all but many preoccupied, when they get enough love from a partner, they experience boredom and start looking for more somewhere else. They too are susceptible to cheating. The avoidants more, of course, but as soon as the preoccupied get what they want, they feel lonely. They start to feel like they start creating more fights, more drama. That's what they need, that distance. They need that inconsistency to feel like they're at home. Like they're at home, yeah, to feel safe. That's what they're used to. Sometimes it's never really enough. Even if it's enough, even if the partner is there for them all the time, they're secure. Even if the partner is secure, they still feel like they're not enough. They're not good enough, or they start doubting it. They start to feel unsafe if you give them everything. Avoidant or preoccupied, because they just can't really absorb it. They can't hold it. They don't believe it. They believe that they shouldn't get it. They shouldn't get the full cake. And that's why I said they need to fix this. Avoidant or preoccupied. And a secure person is not always the ultimate solution. He or she not always the ultimate solution. You need to heal. As a side note concerning avoidance and narcissism, there is a difference between a personality disorder and an attachment style. Attachment styles develop in the first year of your life, in the first 6 to 24 months of your life. Personality disorders develop on top of that, after the attachment system has been established in the psyche of the infant, okay? So remember that. Drawing on the extensive research by Dr. Daniel P. Brown in his book on attachment disturbances, Dr. Brown mentioned that almost all Modern psychological disorders develop as a result of an attachment disturbance. BPD, narcissistic personality disorder, all the cluster B stuff, bipolar, OCD. Avoidance, not all of them are narcissists, but even if they don't have a personality disorder, they can exhibit some of the traits. They can come across as narcissistic, yes. Unconsciously, of course. Because an avoidant person has difficulty feeling their own emotions. This is a very basic trait for avoidance. They can therefore easily and instinctively dismiss other people's emotions and relational concerns. Like, yeah, if you don't feel your feelings, or you don't know what you're feeling most of the time, how can you be able to connect with other people's feelings in real time? So, you cannot blame them really, but it's still hurtful for partners, of course. This is what draws the preoccupied crazy and triggers their clinginess and tantrums even more intensely, because the avoidant, they do give love here and there. They come across as loving. They are there, but at the same time not there, emotionally and many times physically. Generally speaking, whenever you hear terms such as the empath narcissist trap, codependent narcissistic, toxic relationships, the root of these terms is fundamentally attachment disturbances. Often one preoccupied and the other a love avoidant person, quote unquote. Now, moving on to the secure. Secure. Think of a securely attached person as the preoccupied codependent and the avoidant combined, but in a very healthy way. Secure people have a balanced activation of attachment behavior as well as a sustained activation of exploratory behavior. This means they feel safe, loved, appreciated, validated from the inside out. So they don't have attention issues like needing attention from outside or needing consistent, like all these sex partners. This is thanks to the consistency of parental availability and attunement in the first year of life. They have a strong sense of self. In relationships, they are okay with closeness. They're okay with being alone. How amazing does that sound, right? Sounds cool. They rarely complain with an avoidant partner when they withdraw or leave. They just learn from it and move on. As I said, most of the people watching this video are most likely going to be preoccupied in attachment style. Remember that almost all avoidants and preoccupied people perceive their behavior as totally normal, totally, absolutely normal. This is because they act out unconsciously. Another distinction is that avoidants rarely seek therapy or constructive criticism. Preoccupied people are the ones who tend to look up solutions online and they tend to try to fix the avoidant person. Often they don't want to fix themselves, and yeah, preoccupied people are generally the ones who are they invest the most in self-development content. The unconscious internal working model. Avoidants have this sort of pseudo-personality that comes across as confident, cool, cold, calm, collected. This is due to their lack of emotionality, okay? It's not real confidence. Deep down, they're very weak. They're very scared of abandonment even. They're very scared of intimacy. They're full of fear. It's not real confidence. It's emotional shutdown and jadedness, basically. Remember that. It's not real independence. Speaking of attachment shadows, attachment patterns are the most visible in long-term monogamous relationships. In short-term relationships, it's difficult to spot an avoidant, but you can learn how to do it on a date, even from texts. Preoccupied people are easier to spot than avoidants in the courting phases. They will exhibit clinginess and all that. They want to meet more very quickly. They want to move forward quickly. I'll have videos on this in the future. The reason why attachment behavior is more visible in long-term relationships is because your unconscious mind knows something you consciously are not aware of. Whenever you get romantically close, very close to somebody, your unconscious mind activates your so-called, quote-unquote, internal working model of attachment. It activates your attachment style even stronger, to put it simply. Basically, your mind gives signals to all parts of your brain and body to start thinking, feeling, and behaving exactly as if your new romantic partner is your mother. It forces you unconsciously to behave exactly like your parents behaved towards you as an infant in the first 2 years of life. It activates with closeness, emotional and physical closeness, yeah. This is why if the relationship is short-term, you could remain fairly detached in general. If you're preoccupied, even if you're preoccupied, you got some level of security, some level of self-development done on yourself, you can still remain detached, okay? But get close to the person and you will start to get triggered like crazy. If you search on YouTube for quote-unquote how to keep a friends with benefits relationship, most people and psychological research will tell you that you need to avoid doing romantic stuff like cuddling, things like cuddling, spending more time together, doing some activities outside of bed. All of this leads to stronger attachment. So yeah, makes sense. They're right, but it's not that the attachment is formed in that way when you get close to somebody. The attachment system as a model, as a system, as an engine, as a program is already in you. It's established in the first 2 years of life. The attachment internal working model, or the attachment system, your attachment style, to put it simply, all these words are interchangeable. So the attachment system is connected to one single primary caregiver, just to remember this point. Meeting multiple people doesn't trigger that much your unconscious to think, okay, now we have a new primary attachment figure to start running the script on with and about. So what I mean is, if you have multiple partners, it's very difficult to attach and to feel these blockages getting triggered. That's why if you're a preoccupied person, you have like 2 or 3 friends with benefits, it's very difficult to feel your patterns. Maybe you may or may not, but with one person you will start to feel it. Interesting, isn't it? How the mind works. The internal working model / attachment system / attachment style is the unconscious structure behind why you repeat the relationship you had with your mom with every new partner you get. And this is also why you keep attracting the same exact person. And this is also why avoidant people cheat the most, because they want to create distance from the partner, not just physical but emotional distance. And as soon as they get too close to someone, they start doing all kinds of things to feel more independent and free. Again, remember the example of having 2 or 3 friends with benefits, and it helps to not attach. So avoidant people, they do that kind of like by flirting with others or cheating, just because they are not fully safe with getting fully close. They never really trust getting close to somebody. They feel safe and comfortable with a parent or a partner, a relationship that gives them as much freedom as possible. This is because, unlike the preoccupied who got sporadic love, the avoidant grew up getting rejected and left alone almost all the time and neglected. They are terrified of closeness because closeness means not daddy and not mommy. Closeness means stranger, foreign, not safe. Unconditional love means stranger, danger, not safe. Distance means love. Daddy, mommy is here. Distance means love. Distance means familiarity. Distance means this is love. This is how I received love. I received it by neglect, by being distanced by others, being neglected by parents. They nevertheless want to connect, they want to have relationships, but they will sabotage them with all kinds of cheating to keep feeling their own definition of safety within the relationship. Call it weird, call it twisted, but we're here to understand, not to demonize, right? So, guys, avoidants struggle with this themselves and oftentimes do not understand why the heck they do what they do. Be understanding, not demonizing. Your fear of abandonment as a preoccupied person is literally the equivalent of the fear of closeness for the avoidant. It's almost exactly the same feeling for them as it is for you. Of course, it hurts to get cheated on, dismissed, pushed away emotionally by your partner, broken up with out of the blue, broken up with just because of a stupid argument for no apparent reason other than your person getting triggered. broken up with because they're triggered, because things are weirdly getting too close and it's triggering them. Well, yes, I agree. Avoidants need to seek out therapy, guys. Yeah, I do agree. They screw up relationships with secure, with preoccupied, with disorganized. They screw it up with all the other attachment styles, to be honest with you. But don't worry about, all you can do for now is the best that you can do for you. Don't worry about people leaving you. Learn the patterns, do more research on your own, on the topic, heal and find better partners, find more secure partners. Two options, as I said: fix your attachment style, do some therapy, do some healing, do some self-inquiry if you cannot afford therapy, or get some courses, or at least learn to spot when your dysfunctional attachment behavior gets activated so that it doesn't affect your partner. You can ask for help in a much healthier way. Instead of getting angry, for example, you could text your partner, hey, I'm really missing you now, or I really need to see you even for 5-10 minutes, for whatever, okay, instead of getting angry. So really learning how to communicate your needs in a much nicer way. This is what you need to do for the preoccupied. And if you are a passive type of preoccupied, then you really need to learn how to express your emotions and needs and ask for what you need consistently. With mindfulness, awareness, you can learn to relax your attachment anxiety for the avoidant and for the preoccupied. And instead of freaking out about your partner getting close, getting too far, or feeling you're about to be abandoned because you didn't get a text back, they're cheating because you didn't get a text instantly, you can learn to let go and relax. It's very much possible. More on how to practically do this in my future videos. We're gonna talk about how to fix all of this, okay? Going forward with disorganized attachment, I'll have a full separate video on disorganized attachments sometime soon, guys, so stay tuned on the channel. But to be brief for now, disorganized attachment style is the highest form of attachment disturbance. This is the root of such big disorders like borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorders, psychopathy, and so on. Even criminal behavior. Extensive research has been done on criminals, juveniles in prisons, and they have found that almost all of them had or have disorganized attachment style, guys. So this is very, I was shocked when I read about this. It's all about your attachment style at the end of the day. It's all about your attachment style, even criminal behavior. So this information, by the way, guys, is drawn from Dr. Daniel P. Brown's book titled Attachment Disturbance Treatment for Comprehensive Repair. If you want to do your own research, check out the book. This is the book of all books on attachment. There are, of course, degrees of preoccupied attachment style, as I told you, degrees of avoidance, also degrees of disorganized attachment style, degrees of disorganization, and also degrees in secure attachment style. This means that you can be secure, preoccupied, or secure with avoidant features. Some people are fully secure, but there are people who are secure preoccupied. There are people who are secure with a little bit of avoidance. So your partner doesn't have to be perfect, okay? They just have to be aware of this, and they have to work. There is no other way to have a healthy relationship without fixing the attachment style. This is something that you need to tell any potential partner. Guys, I speak from experience, okay? You have to tell the person about attachment styles. You gotta teach them about it, and you gotta check if they're ready to do the work, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of healing. And if they're not ready, yeah, you cannot be together because it's gonna end anyways. So this is the self-improvement aspect of the relationship. If they're not willing to self-improve together, it's the relationship is pointless. The degree of dysfunction or security is directly correlated to the quality of caretaking you receive from your primary caregiver. Compared to secure people, those insecurely attached, preoccupied, avoidant, disorganized tend to have more addictions, fear of success, mistrust, susceptibility to illness, physical illness even, negative emotions, mood swings, high conflict, criminality, as I said, easily angered, or easily to feel slighted, perceived slight, low self-esteem, depression, and any other psychological or behavioral problem you could think of, okay? So the attachment style makes or breaks your life in general, not just your relationships. How much of these issues you will have will be directly correlated to the degree of dysfunction in your attachment style. Again, I'm gonna repeat this, guys. How much of these issues you will have, even how much trauma you're gonna experience or perceive an event as traumatic, is directly correlated to the degree of dysfunction in your attachment style. So the attachment style is almost everything, and this is the first thing that you need to focus on managing and fixing, guys. Your attachment style is basically your first trauma, the pillar trauma upon which stands all future limiting beliefs in emotional, social, and psychological issues. Securely attached individuals can feel down. They can feel down at times and may seek out therapy, yeah, they need therapy at times, but they tend to recover extremely fast. They tend to move through therapy extremely quickly, and they tend to perceive whatever happens around them and around their ego positively. They experience, for example, if somebody's laughing at them, they'll think that they are just laughing. They're not gonna think, oh, they're making fun of me. So they have a very positive perception of the self. If you have an insecure attachment style, just don't look down on yourself, okay? Don't beat yourself up. This is not your fault, okay? This is, yeah, you are born in a specific family. Sometimes I even think it's destiny, it's karma, whatever it is. You're not alone. Millions, billions of people have insecure attachment style. It depends on from country to country, right? You could do your own research on this. But generally speaking, let's just say in the US, it's about, I think 60-70% of people have insecure attachment style. So it's quite the global issue. So the whole thing about attachment is really connected to generational trauma. Grandfathers treated your father and mother like garbage, and then unconsciously, of course, and the grandfathers treated these fathers like this, that, and it's all generational. It's all passed on from one generation to another. Worldwide also, it's around 50% insecurely attached people. So don't beat yourself up, just do the work, and you're not alone. This video was mostly theory, but it's very important to understand before we get to the practical part. In my upcoming videos, we will dive much deeper into each attachment style separately. Then I'll share practical solutions on how to start your healing journey for each of these attachment styles. The bulk of this video was inspired and paraphrased. Some of the parts were paraphrased from the book Attachment Disturbances in Adults: Treatment for Comprehensive Repair by Daniel P. Brown. This is the master book on attachment and how to fix it. If you would like to accelerate healing, I recommend my Psycho-Shamanic Shadow Work course. This is the Peak Transformation course. This is an advanced shadow work course that teaches you powerful shamanic healing techniques and principles to tackle all kinds of modern psychological issues, limiting beliefs, anxiety, energy blockages, chakra imbalances, and even attachment styles, low self-esteem, depression, any kind of problem you're experiencing right now, or a pattern, anger issues. Check out the course, the link is in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, you can find my Patreon page in there as well, description below. You could also share the video with somebody that you think is gonna benefit. We need to raise awareness on this, and we need to make this planet a better place for everybody. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in our new video next week.